All right, so let's talk about it. What's the real cost of living in Calgary in 2025? You've probably heard that Calgary is more affordable than Toronto or Vancouver, but is it really? With home prices rising and inflation affecting everything, is Calgary still a smart move for young families? Today, I'm going to be breaking down the numbers for housing, groceries, utilities, daycare, and much more. So if you're deciding to make a move to Calgary and want to know if it's still affordable to live here, you're going to want to watch this video. Before we dive in, I would love to hear from you. Do you think that Calgary is going to be more affordable in 2025 than where you are currently? Drop a yes or a no and leave some comments if you'd like, and let me know what you're thinking about affordability in Calgary for 2025. Detached homes in Calgary has climbed to a benchmark price of $747,500 as of January 1st, 2025. Now this is up from around $560,000 just a couple years ago. Yes, that's actually a big increase for Calgary, but it's still much lower than Toronto and Vancouver detached homes, where, as you already probably know, you're looking at probably a $1.3 million for the same type of home. So if you're a young family looking for something more budget-friendly, townhomes in Calgary are starting around that 350. Probably the mid-range is that 450 to 500,000. And the benchmark price for apartments, condos, is in that $350,000 range. So it is important to understand that Calgary housing market is still very competitive, especially at that entry level price range, as the demand is still very high as we are going into 2025. So here's a bit of a reality check. A $650,000 detached home in Calgary at today's interest rates means roughly a $3,500 a month payment for mortgage payments. This is way better than renting a two-bedroom condo apartment in Toronto for $3,800. So bottom line, if you're moving from BC or Ontario, you're going to get way more house for your dollar here in Calgary. All right, so next up, let's talk about the utilities for your homes in Calgary. Now, this can be a really sneaky expense. You really want to know that the difference between summer and winter is fairly large, actually, just because of the cost of heating your homes. So a detached home, for instance, let's say 1,800 square feet, two-story. The electricity and heating run anywhere from $250 to $400 a month, obviously winter being that $400. Water and waste disposal runs anywhere from $100 to $150 a month. Internet and cable, depending, of course, which company and speed you go on, it ranges from about $80 to $150 a month. The other thing you're going to have to pay is property tax, and on a home like that, the $650,000 range, you're probably going to be paying in around that $3,000 to $3,500 a year. So a pro tip about buying a home in Calgary, if you're buying an older home and it doesn't have a high efficiency furnace, you're definitely going to be paying more for your heating. It's a really good investment to invest in a high efficiency furnace. They're not that expensive, and they really give you a high return on your investment. Now, if you're planning to rent a home first before you buy, a one-bedroom condo in downtown Calgary is roughly $1,900 to $2,300 a month. A two-bedroom townhouse in the suburbs is going to run you between $2,500 and $3,200 a month. And single-family detached homes in suburban is going to be about that $3,200 to $4,200 a month. Again, just depending on which community and, of course, size. So certainly Calgary rental prices have increased over the last couple of years, but still, again, it's much lower than Vancouver and Toronto rentals. The demand for rentals in Calgary is still very high, so if you're moving here, you definitely want to start your search for rental early. So another question for you. If you're moving to Calgary today, what would you do first, rent or would you purchase? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So an important note for renters, if you're looking to rent, keep in mind that real estate agents in Calgary typically don't work and represent tenants. The rental market here doesn't have a system that allows this type of representation, so we don't help with securing rentals. What we can do, though, is provide guidance on what different Calgary neighborhoods offer, things like schools, amenities, and commute times. If you're planning on renting first with the plans to buy later, I definitely can help you strategize your move so you can find the right neighborhood so that this matches your family's requirements and budget when you decide to make that move. Some of the more popular websites for rentals are rentfaster.ca, Zumper, Kijiji Rentals, Facebook Marketplace. The demand for rentals in Calgary is still very high, so make sure you start your search early and always be very careful. There's a lot of scams that are going out there, of course, with all the people under high pressure. So, definitely you verify that these listings are actually a true listing. All right, so let's move on to groceries and dining. So, for example, 4 liters of milk costs you $6.50. A loaf of bread is $3.50. Chicken breast is running at about $15 to $18 per kilogram. A dozen eggs is going to set you back between $5 and $7. And fresh produce, apples, bananas, etc., they're actually similar to national averages. So eating out as a family at a mid-range restaurant is going to cost you between $80 and $120, while fast food for a family of 4 is around $40 to $50. Prices have gone up, but grocery costs in Calgary are still lower than Vancouver and Toronto, where supply chain issues drive prices even higher. All right, so let's talk about childcare. This is a big one for a lot of families and, again, just a big expense. So in Calgary, full-time daycare runs you anywhere from about $1,100 to $1,500 a month. Now, this is before subsidies. With Alberta's government subsidy, some families pay as low as $200 to $500 a month. Calgary's public schools, which are the CBE and the Calgary Catholic Division, these are free, but they do have small fees for various things like field trips and certain school supplies and materials. In Calgary, if your child needs to be bused, there are some transportation fees which vary depending on which school district and which student's grade level. Here's a breakdown of Calgary Board of Education, which is CBE, costs for busing. So grades 1 to 9 for the current school year is $260 per student for yellow bus services. Kindergarten one-way transportation is available and is reduced to a fee of $130 per student. The Catholic School District, grades 1 to 6, pay $450 per student with a family maximum of $900. Grades 7 to 12, students may be eligible for a $20 monthly rebate on Calgary Transit passes if they live more than 2 kilometers away from their designated school. So here's a really important tip about schools that you need to know about before you choose a neighborhood to live in. Many of the schools in Calgary, especially the fastest growing communities, are overcrowded. This means that even if there's a school close to your home or in your designated neighborhood, your child may not be guaranteed a spot and could end up being bused to a different neighborhood in a different school. So how can you avoid this? I help my clients find homes in neighborhoods with the best school options for their kids. Now, whether that means picking a community with more school capacity or one with an alternative school that matches what you want for your children. So if schools are a top priority for your move, let's chat early in the process so I can help you find the right home in the community that meets your family's specific needs. So I have a question. If you're moving to Calgary with kids, what's most important to you? Being close to a great school or having a bigger home in a newer neighborhood? Let me know in the comments. And if you need help finding the right community, reach out. I'd love to help. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the cost of Calgary's public transportation. Calgary has a robust busing system throughout the city. It also has a C-train, which is our LRT system. Now this system is actually free in the downtown core. And then, of course, it goes out throughout the city. The C-train and bus fare are the same at $3.70 per ride, or you can get a monthly pass for $109. So currently the C-train goes out west of Calgary. There is a line that goes out to the northeast part of Calgary, and then it goes straight down south. There is a new line coming in. It's called the Green Line. This is going to be more of a north and southeast that runs through downtown. And so that one just got started. They've had all sorts of delays, but it looks like they're finally getting it started. It is still a few years away before it'll be ready, but it's good to see that they're actually getting it started. So let's talk about provincial tax. Ha! Alberta, we're in Alberta, so Calgary has no provincial tax. This is a huge savings. In BC, you pay 7% PST, and Ontario, you pay 8% PST on top of everything that you're buying. So we only have the 5% here, and for a family of four, that's actually a fairly large savings each year. So for example, if you're buying a $50,000 car in Vancouver or Toronto, that means paying an extra $3,500 to $4,000 just in taxes. Even the land transfer tax when you're buying a home in Calgary is a fraction of the cost that you will pay in Ontario and BC. Just think about how much money you're going to save each year by just savings on PST alone. So it definitely is cheaper to live in Calgary. So, is Calgary still the affordable escape from expensive cities in Canada? I would say yes. Bottom line, Calgary is still one of the best cities in Canada for affordability, but it is changing, and it's changing fast. So if you're thinking about making a move here, now is the time to start planning before prices climb even higher. If you're serious about moving to Calgary, reach out. I help families relocate every day and can guide you through the process. All my contact information is below and in the description. I'd love to hear from you, so reach out today. And please, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you on the next video.